Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. It is that time. We're not early, but we are a bit early for our likings.
Yes. We thank the Lord.
It's been 12, 1:30, 12. Yeah, but this time I think we are a bit earlier.
We thank the Lord.
We thank the mighty God for all these things that are happening. And I think we also thank our bodies because they are saying they are tired, so we must finish early. So yeah, here we are. I hope that everything is fine and you can hear us properly, and I cannot doubt that. In any case, Emily, it has been Mshololo's day.
Ow. Matsoho. Yabana, I have been very on and off. Bengati, I'm working with ever-ready batteries. Do you know that? But today I was like, this is the most beautiful cross-examination I've ever seen. I loved everything that Mshololo asked today. I loved how she conducted herself. I loved everything. Her execution, the laughing, the humor, the balancing of forces. Because they were trying to provoke her. They were trying. But she was balanced emotionally, and she emphasized what needed emphasis. Yes. She pointed it out for the slow ones like myself.
Yeah.
That this is the problem. This is the glitch. She summarized all the work that has been done from Gobe Zulu up until Malo yesterday. She summarized it beautifully under 1 hour 30 minutes. So I am happy. I am very happy about that crossing. I cannot complain. That was execution. Diabonga Mshololo. Thank you. So yes, guys, Malo had no further questions. And yes, welcome. Let me greet you, family. Welcome to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. This is where we deliberate on those court proceedings at the Senzo Meyiwa Trial. We are here. We want to understand what's going on, and we want to see when that verdict comes. We may be surprised, but we will know how it unfolded. And that's the reason why we do what we do. We want to understand what is happening in that courtroom.
You mean the appeal that is going to follow after that? Where are you? Are you still in that hope, la la land of hoping that Ratha is going to rule otherwise? Huh? No, man. Yeah. You know, I think my heart is safe with me because I always have a way of protecting it from the worst pain that can happen. And this is the one. You prepare for the worst, even though you know that the worst is coming. In this case, it's not you prepare for the worst and hope for the best. There is no such in my vocabulary. When it comes to this case, there is no such thing.
Prepare for the worst.
Now I'm preparing for the worst, and I'm expecting the worst. I'm hoping for the worst because it's going to be the worst that is going to be happening. I know. So, otherwise, uzoba heart attack. Uzowa ubulawa umuntu obvious. How can a judge who debunks each and every work that is done by the defense, in my opinion, rule otherwise?
He's not even hiding it.
No.
He's not ashamed.
He's parading it. He is parading it, in my opinion. He's just putting it out there for you to see that he is not buying whatever that the defense is saying.
Prosecutor judge.
If you are going to sit down at home and say, sometimes. uNkulunkulu is giving us a chance to see what is going to be or what is written down
in 3D.
We choose to ignore it and say, oh, uNkulunkulu is coming. No, This is where God is coming here. It's now. He shows you that this verdict is ready and is gonna kick in. You know, learn to accept it. It's like death. There's no running away from it. There's no postponing it.
But see, I can only imagine. It's only imagination I have of what it felt like when you know that you're going to enter a court and not win, and the worst case that may happen that you during those times. This literally has the same anxiety.
You know you're gonna die.
You're attending that court.
You are given date.
Just for control purposes. Just so they can take whatever they need to take. But the verdict is already made. Not even based on much concrete evidence. Just based on the fact that it's you. It's you. And that's what it feels like every day watching those court proceedings.
You know, I will tell you this. I was chilling, doing my notes, summarizing, trying to find, you know. And then I stopped a minute. When the judge started talking, I just stopped. I lost it, and I just lost it. You know, is that... How can I explain the feeling? The feeling is like... It's like watching your team if you watch soccer. And first half, they scored 2 goals. You know? And then halfway before that first half, it's 2-2, and you can see that other team is overpowering them. You still wanna watch because you wanna see your team see it through and win. But in your mind, something is telling you that this team actually that we are playing against seems like we are playing with 15 players and we are playing with 11 players. And that's what that court is. That court, it feels like the defense, it's 5 of them. Is it 5 or 4? 4 of them. But it's like they are playing against the whole, all the prosecutors of the South African courts. It's like they are there. You know, there is no... I've never... I'll tell... Someone might correct me. Since this case started, have you ever had Ratha supporting the defense view, or in any case, even assisting them with any or some of the things that they need to assist them with?
No.
It's like they annoy him.
What maybe people who are not paying attention may interpret as that is when he doesn't want them to go somewhere and he will keep saying, are you sure you want to take it there? Are you sure? Are you sure? That's just as close as we can say maybe, but he's not even doing that. He's just stopping them from going into the deeper end.
There's a feeling that there might be a rabbit hole the other side, in my opinion.
It's usually to block.
Yes.
It's not to help their defense at all. So he's never helped the defense in any way or even balance forces.
If I was to summarize how I've viewed Ratha and the state, you know, sometimes Ratha has taken decision in excitement that this is really, in my opinion, it is going to help the state. And then during the night, they realize that, or even during the process of that thing happening,
yes,
there is this realization that actually, hey, we shot ourselves on the foot here. So what happens is that they start now finding ways of distracting that whole process, in my opinion. That's what I've seen. I've seen people in that court, things changing. You know, I've given this order, and then the following day, like your Miss Pinky, who was supposed to come back, upon realizing, in my opinion, that, hey, ngathi siyayigwaza la. Yabo?
Yes.
One has to wonder.
They stopped her. It's the judge who said, no, she doesn't have to come.
One has to wonder as to how these things happen, how the judge reads Baloyi's mind, perhaps, because sometimes you'd hear Baloyi defending the position that the judge is taking, or Baloyi being against the position that the judge is taking, simply because he sees that it's going to make the case, in my opinion, makes it look weaker. And the judge at that time has not caught up with that thing. But overnight, I can tell you, the following day, that agreement or whatever instruction or whatever court order that was given, they either going to come with a long story of cases where they are quoting, after they've accepted whatever that was supposed to be accepted, to I mean, the reasons why they are not going to accept this. This court is really flip-flopping, and the wind is going to one direction, in my opinion. Wherever the state is blowing, that's where the wind is blowing to. There is no other way around it. There's no way of sugarcoating it. You can sit down and try to analyze as much as you can, talk about the grooves in the bullet, you talk about the DNA. At the end of the day, the willingness, the edge of these people to prove that these people who are in jail are indeed criminal, it is superseding everything that you can come up with, the truth or whatsoever. There is a willingness from Mangena going and fetching exhibits that were open, from the arresting of these boys, these young boys, these two boys, the arresting of Bontanzi and Sbiya, which seems similar, a photocopy of each other. You know, they all had bullets in them with no guns. You know, they were arrested. The other one sticks, the other one does not stick. It does not matter even if it doesn't stick with the other one. You are still going to be kept there conveniently for you to be charged with Senzo Meyiwa's case. You know, the willingness of these people. And then you tell me that this is what we are seeing here is investigation that was done. If this is how investigation looks like, I would rather go to jail without investigation at all, because this is cancer to people like Bontans. This is equivalent to cancer. You know that your days are numbered, but either way, you still have to wake up, get in that van, come to court, listen to the judge. Sometimes you find amusement in what the judge is doing, because you are not a law, you are a lay person, you are not a law person. But you can see the one-sidedness that is happening in that court if there's anything like that. So what can we do? Prepare for the worst and hope for the worst. I don't care how you put it, but just hope that is going to come, and then there's going to be whatever that is going to happen, the appeal and whatnot, and then from there we see where to go. But that appeal on its own, it kills 375. So we did
hope
say
for the best.
We did say
hope for the best.
We
Prepare
did say
for the worst
and hope for the best. No, I'm changing that on purpose, because
when I are saying hope for the worst, prepare
Yes.
for the worst.
Yes.
Oh my God, is
Yes.
it that bad?
If you cannot beat them, join them. Mshololo's cross-examination today was superb.
It was excellent.
We cannot see any flaw in it. It was clean. Emotional intelligence that I talked about yesterday was on point. Smiling at all times, not easily irritable.
Yes.
Even though there was an attempt, and there's always going to be an attempt, because they've realized that that is where the weak point of Mshololo is, in my opinion. But you cannot fault Mshololo. You can't. Even I didn't write anything. I was just listening. That's how good it was. I just listened. But as I was listening and enjoying that, then the judge came. If you Mshololo, the judge will always try to debunk Mshololo. I don't know. In my opinion.
And he was upset. That's when you know Mshololo did something there.
No, there is nothing like.
He was upset.
I feel like Mshololo, upon realizing that there is no mess in that court, she started fighting back that much. And then from that, I think Mshololo created enemies. So the forgiveness is far from that court. It's something that cannot exist. They are looking for any mistake. When it comes to Mshololo living west, the bulldozing, and I hate to lean towards this thing of being a woman and a man, but they seem to be what we are watching in that court, where a man should feel superior in when it comes to this, because Mshololo is not far from what Mnisi is doing. It's not far from what Mngomezulu is doing, but there is this anger towards her. It's like they're saying, why are you here? It's like not they are. It's like there is someone who say, why are you here? Why are you not cooking? Mbasi, Moroka, thank you very much as a co-founder. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
We are adding. It's only 4 of these members. You are the 5th one.
The 5th one, co-founder.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So just to tell you, I mean, sometimes I do feel like Mshololo will be right to use that kind of I'm a woman.
She's experiencing pull head down.
Yes. She is.
Let us not mince it.
I've seen Mshololo revolve, change in that court. He came as a rigid lawyer, one-sided person who's gonna do things in her way. I have seen her change emotionally, change the way of cross-examining, even the shouting, the level of the voice coming down and up when it's necessary. I've seen that. So that is someone who's learning. As much as they are experienced with whatever they are doing, but there's more room for improvement in some of the things that they do. And they are doing that because this case is very old, if you look at it. So I cannot fault her. Unfortunately, in my own opinion, whatever work that she did today was undone by the judge in a couple of words. It's like, let me show you how we were practicing nowadays. I will debunk this whole thing. And in any case, I have the power to stop you if you are arguing with me. It's like being beaten with your hands tied at the back. You say something, I will say something. One way or another, I have to rule on it. Let's see who's going to believe. Am I going to believe myself? Oh, definitely I'm believing myself. I'm not going to believe you.
At the corner of my eye there, I saw someone say that they are scared for the witnesses that the defense is going to call. It seems like the judge is going to be allegedly aggressive.
Look, with that regards, I don't think that should be the problem. It's not going to be aggressive. The worst that could happen in that court is to undermine their level of thinking, and also the laughters that might be annoying that are going to happen to show that they are not taking you serious, to take you out of the game. But that's the best. That's the worst that can happen. I don't see anything beyond that. I don't see the grilling and all that. It's not going to happen. But what they are going to, the demeanor of the judge might be such that it shows that he's not taking you serious. Probably not even going to write anything that you said, because that's what he wants to hear.
Well, yeah, this morning Umalo had no further questions for Mangena. He was done with his cross-examination. Advocate Zandile Mshololo for accused number 5, Fisogutlon Tuli, began her cross-examination of Col Chris Mangena, and Mshololo went through the lab reports verifying the 2 lab numbers with Mangena. The last page said it was commissioned on the 4th of May 2020. So Mshololo started with asking Mangena about his qualifications, and she said to him, I just want to introduce you into the record in terms of your qualifications. Okay. Now, Mangena said he started in forensic ballistics in 1995. At the time, he had not obtained the national diploma in policing with UNISA. He only got it in 2010. So the diploma is the only qualification accredited with SAQA, the South African Qualifications Authority, or is it Act? The rest were departmental training, such as those CMI that were being mentioned throughout his cross-examinations. Those are just training with the department where he's working. So Mshololo then said the transfer of marks by the firearm to the fired cartridges and the fired bullets, that is also an internal training that you received. And Mangena said it's correct. He did the internal training in 1995 and completed it in 1998. And Mshololo went to his report where he said, I was declared competent and proficient in forensic ballistic examination. And Mshololo asked him who declared him competent, which institution. And Mangena said it was an internal training, and he was declared by their training officer, by then their commander. So Mangena said he cannot recall when this was, but it is the certificate. He's got them. It is written on the certificates, but he cannot recall the year where this happened. So Mshololo read where it said, I examined the fired bullets mentioned in 3.1 and 4.2 and compared the individual and class characteristics markings transferred to them by firearm components during the firing process using a comparison Microsoft and found. Then it means that these are your findings. And Mangena said that's correct. So Mshololo continued reading, and this is the passage where it said, and these are the findings of the exhibits mentioned in 3.1 and 4.2 as the bullets recovered from the scene and the firearm recovered from the Cleveland case. Mangena also said that 4.2 is the test that he fired with the firearm collected from the Cleveland police station. 3.1 is the bullet that was recovered from the crime scene. And then he was asked, you agree with me that these are your first findings after you examine these two exhibits mentioned above? And Mangena said no. On 6.1, these were the tests which were fired by Warrant Officer Rolofse, not the tests that he fired. So he confirmed that he compared the bullets with the tests that were fired by Warrant Officer Rolofse first. So remember how yesterday I was asking, but how did he make, what is going on? How did he make the link to that firearm? So now he finally admitted that he actually confirmed, or rather found, that bullets, he compared them with Warrant Officer Rolofse's tests. But as to how he got to Warrant Officer Rolofse's test to begin with, that is a mystery. Then Mshololo said, when you say there is sufficient class characteristics but insufficient individual characteristic markings transferred to these bullets by firearm components during the firing process, which could be due to the difference in bullet material as a result, I took a decision to obtain additional tests of the same material as the exhibit bullet.
Right, let's remind people to like the video, share the video, and do the right thing to it as much as you can. Do interact with those adverts. And Belta Ngwenya, thank you very much for your generous donation. May God increase you to whatever level that you want to go to. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys, some of you might help by liking, some of you might help by watching those adverts. Please do assist us.
Yes, please,
we
guys.
Humbly ask, because we have to keep on asking so that we can keep on pushing. Can we reach 200 likes for now? Then we'll take it further to that.
So there was a moment there, Mshololo ati, hey, wenza kancane lo baba. Referring to the interpreter. She was saying that the interpreter is slow.
We have been laughing at an interpreter. There is a side of an interpreter that I've realized across these proceedings. What I have realized is that when there is something that's going to happen from the defense side that is hardcore, that requires a flow that requires everything that it can get.
You all of a sudden
They
develops
take
an
off
attitude.
Jonas. No. Forget
Okay.
about the attitude.
All right.
Jonas, for some weird reasons, is taken off.
Oh, when there's crucial evidence being presented.
And then
Jonas
this
is
guy
being told to
comes
sit
with the
down.
questions and questions and questions and questions. Hey, repeat that. Hey, it's a staggering process. You become so slow.
They place them there on paper.
This, if you check these proceedings, all of them, check the Jonas proceedings and these ones. These ones are heading to 5 hours something.
And then they complain that the defense is taking too long, while they have one of the slowest, most lackluster interpreters ever.
In my opinion, that
He's
guy,
the one actually
the
dragging.
memory as an interpreter, you should have a proper, not say proper. Let me put it like that. You should have a long memory. You understand?
And if you don't
So
have
be
a
able
long
to
memory,
take it for long,
have
and
a
then
short handwriting
yes.
skill.
And Jonas has it. You know, he has both. Jonas can write, can do everything.
Short handwriting, just to recall what was said.
So this guy comes in when it's crucial people. He comes in when it's crucial people. I don't know how, and you might find this is my thinking. You might find that Jonas is there with other courts.
Yes, he has to show up to work every day.
So there is a, I don't know. You know, in football we call it time wasting. When you are leading 1-0, you want to waste time as much as you can. So this guy, when they need to buy time, is the right guy, because they literally with this guy can cross-examine the whole. One person can cross-examine the whole day. I don't know if you've noticed.
And he's also brought in when Sibanda is doing his
exactly
examination in chief. When Sibanda is there, somehow this interpreter is also there.
So I guess everyone has their speciality in that court, and everyone knows everyone. So they probably, whoever chooses them, it's like the issue of legal aid. We are saying there might be a third hand. That's our opinion. Well, there is no way of proving it, but I feel like some of these things are not coincidences that are happening there. How everything is selected and the timing of introducing something that can distract the court and all that. There's synergy in how these things are moving, these distractions, these problems that are happening. There's synergy, there's this working togetherness, together we shall. That is not...
We shall overcome.
It's fine. Let me not say anything more. Continue.
Mshololo then said that her understanding of the report is that there was insufficient individual characteristics to give a positive match. And Mangena said that's correct. Isn't that a negative? Insufficient individual characteristics to give a positive match. Does that not mean it's not a positive match? Well, then Mshololo said, so that was your first report, that it was negative. Mangena said, I wouldn't say it was negative. The class characteristics were there, but insufficient for me to say it's a match. That's why I wanted to shoot additional tests. It's the correct type of ammunition. Mshololo then said, don't rush. We're going to the additional information. We are here on paragraph 6 now. Then the interpreter interrupts Mshololo and says that he would like to be allowed to speak. He was still stuck on Mangena's answer. And Mshololo laughed. She had to laugh because to me it seemed like law interpreter law. Something is not right. My lord, the advocate is not allowing me to speak. Hey, bo. Njani manje? So I was like, calling the off. Calling the off, Mr. Interpreter today. I can't put my finger on it, but something's not right. It seems like Mshololo is being thrown off. But then she, beautiful response. She laughed. And I know a lot of people have a problem with me laughing. I do the exact same thing. I laugh when I'm extremely bothered because I have realized that there are some people who want to provoke you. There are some people who do that and they do it on purpose. So Mshololo has kind of figured it out. We thank the Lord that she has, and she's cruising nicely. She's cruising nicely. So Mangena said that the first test that is referred to is when he compared the exhibits with the tests which were fired by Warrant Officer Rulofse, and he came to the conclusion that the class characteristics were there, but the individual characteristics were not sufficient. So he decided to shoot additional tests so that he can do further additional examination on it. And Mshololo asked him, we are still coming to there. I just want to understand the findings in paragraph 6.1 in terms of the findings. There were insufficient individual characteristics which did not give a positive identification or a match. And Mangena said, that's correct, my lord. And Mshololo said, the reason you have also included on the same paragraph, you said, but insufficient individual characteristics marks transferred to these bullets by firearm components during the firing process, which could be due to the difference in bullet material. And Mangena said that's correct. Further, you say, as a result, I took a decision to obtain further tests of the same material as exhibit bullet. And Mangena said that's correct. So, Colonel, does it mean that if there is a difference in the bullet material, it means that can have an impact on the examination or transferring of marks? And Mangena said that's correct. So Mshololo said, why did you take a decision alone to obtain additional tests of the same material as exhibit bullet? Because the report was conclusive here. You examined the exhibit and you had gotten the findings. And Mangena said that it's how we normally work. If we shoot the test or find that the test you are comparing with are of different material, we prefer to shoot the correct test where you can do a comparison on similar objects, not different types of objects.
But you initially did not do that. Then you remember late, I'm supposed to shoot similar bullet. And then you go and fetch it. You find it open wherever, God knows where. And you don't have any problem with it. You're like, oh, fine. I mean, I'm the ballistic expert. I can take it as long as I know.
I shoot and test what I like. It's giving very much that. So Mshololo then said, so why in the first place you did not use a similar material? Mangena said that the tests that he was using are the ones fired by Warrant Officer Rulofse. So he used a PMP full metal jacket or full metal jacket when he shot the test on the same firearm. So for him to do a proper investigation, he needed the same kind of bullet to do the comparison. So Mshololo asked him, which is the best test, or which is the test that was used by Rulofse? The judge said no. Rulofse used a full metal jacket and the bullet at the scene was a CMJ. So the test of Rulofse is not similar to the test which the bullet was allegedly found in the scene regarding material.
You know what would be interesting is, Rulofse, I can bet you right now, whatever that was shot on the Cleveland, if there was a shooting, it was probably CMJ.
Yes.
But Rulofse find these bullet matching using FMJ. It would be interesting to have that exhibit of Cleveland case to see what was it.
That was actually.
Was it a CMJ? And I can bet you, because CMJ is cheaper, most probably, than FMJ.
Yes.
And
remember,
you can have a criminal that runs with an FMJ.
FMJ, no. It's usually in the military, FMJ. So
it would be very interesting to know, on the Cleveland case, or whatever case that they were testing for, was it CMJ or FMJ that was compared with FMJ? Because we know the testings were FMJ, but was it CMJ, the exhibit of that case? Was it CMJ or FMJ?
I find it hard to believe that it was an FMJ, in my opinion.
That's
what
I was thinking.
If it was, then that also is not looking good for the Cleveland case. So why
there's no way, I can tell you right now, there's no way there could be a turning back on that Cleveland case. That's what you are made to feel like.
Yes. So why is Mangena doing this? Why is Mangena denting credibility of other people's work that he used?
I would rather bet more on the Cleveland case
than this one.
So I would take my money and bet everything I have on the Cleveland case and not this one. The only time I can bet against this one is if it's an opposite of what is currently sitting on court. Then I can bet on this one.
Well, Mshololo said, let's conclude this before confusing the record.
Now, this is
because this is where the judge
answer to the judge. This is a sucker punch to tell you, Chief, you are confusing the record. I can tell you, he did not catch that. Because the judge did say something.
He said the test of rule of say is not similar to the test
he talked about
which the bullet was allegedly found on the scene regarding the material. So this is when Mshololo is like, no, let's conclude this before we confuse the record. And she was saying this facing Mangena, not looking at the judge.
Because you cannot look at Your Highness.
You cannot. You must just address the witness. Yes. You cannot address him. You address him, aye, is yashuba.
So you punch the witness so that that's basically what is happening.
So she further said, let's conclude from the examination you did on the exhibit from rule of says evidence test, you did not get a positive match. And Mangena said, my lord, as I have mentioned, because of the difference in bullet materials, I could see the individual characteristics, but they were not sufficient. So I came to the conclusion that with these bullets, it's inconclusive, but I need to shoot the correct test to compare the correct test. So, Mangena,
I wish they can bring back rule of say, just on that question, to say, what were you testing that exhibit against? Was it CMJ or FMJ? Simple. Or if they can find that information, because that information closes this case, even though this case is closed, in my opinion. But if you can find out that is rule of say was testing against CMJ, and he concluded that there is a positive match, and all of a sudden this expect of 30 years or 50 years comes and say FMJ is not enough. In his finding, he found that it's inconclusive. Therefore, it kicks this Mangena's evidence out.
Well, Mshololo asked, it was inconclusive. Am I also correct to understand that if the findings in paragraph 6.1 were inconclusive, it means that there was no positive match? Mangena said, I would say correct. There was no positive match, but it was an inconclusive finding. So this reminded me of yesterday. This is what Mr. Dave Peterse found as well. It seems that this is where he was supposed to stop, but no. Mangena went the extra mile and made it to become a match.
You see, I think the states, the defense, this is what they left. You are right. They were supposed to say, after, in fact, Mshololo, I'll blame Mshololo on this one. Why? Because she's the one who came with this line of questioning. She did not finish it. She was supposed to say, you find the inconclusive result, yeah? First time. Yes. Then you say, that's what I expect found.
Yes, I expect
same
found
as
this
what was happening in Congo.
Yay.
Same as he was checking you in Congo. You were right. God knows what happened after that. Then you decided to go fetch an exhibit that was open. I cannot blame you. But I can always blame that exhibit that was open. God knows what happened after that. Then you came back, you changed your result. You know, Mr. Mangena, you are like someone who wrote the correct answer and then realized that, hey, I'm not sure. Let me go back, and then you ended up writing the wrong answer. But it's good. Let's continue. That is Mnisi's way of doing things.
Yes, this is where I missed Mnisi, because I knew that this one he was never gonna miss. He was gonna drive this one home. Even this one deserved the red carpet. This one, it deserved to be dragged. Because this is where Dave Peterse stopped, and he came to the conclusion that it's inconclusive.
Yes.
So Mr. Mangena, you were here.
Our expect is not far from you.
No.
You are in agreement, except you decided to write more notes.
Yes. You decided to scratch what you initially found and continue on a different journey. You know. And now we are here.
Now, because of your finding, we find ourselves in this court. As Dalimpofus have said. What did he say? My foot. It was nice there. I think we're gonna do that. I enjoyed it. That's right. They don't sugarcoat. They hit hard. I don't know if you guys watched the defense of Dalimbo for MK on the issue of Dr. Hlop. It's there. They don't sugarcoat there. They don't sugarcoat there. They tell it as it is, that this is a political tool that is being used against the people of color.
Like he was taking words out of my mouth. What I've been thinking
I was
in
very
secret.
proud of him to say. I was very proud. He actually says, what I liked about what he was saying is saying what we are saying as lay people.
Yes.
That this law, this Roman Dutch law, is a weapon. Is nothing other than a weapon that should be unleashed against anyone who does not want to listen or confine to whatever that that corner that they are confined to.
Yes.
I mean, this issue of Judge Hlop, everything has been passed. You are let in the parliament.
You
Because
won.
there's no law.
You impeached him. You won.
But
that's not enough.
It's not enough. That's what even Dalimpov is saying. You go to the grave, you dig him up, you come back, you still want to kill him.
You lynch him.
Hey.
That's literally what's happening. And we are supposed to keep quiet and act like
and
we're
we
not
say,
seeing
this
it.
is the best constitution.
No.
This is the best law. Where are these lawyers who are always here saying that you guys don't know anything?
It's like they literally want to see him lose his mind, atopana nama pepper, living in the streets. Until they see him begging on the streets, then it's not enough. He's not supposed to work anywhere. He's not supposed to do anything in life, according to them.
Because for some weird reason, it was wrong for him to be a judge in Cape Town. Very wrong.
Not only be a judge, but to remind people who are of this color that land is important.
No, it's wrong. What is happening there? It's wrong. I don't care what you say. MK said, we trust law. The laws, the rules of the parliament, nothing was broken.
There's no law that says
There's
that
no
an
law that
impeached
prevents
judge cannot enter the JSC.
But wait
There's
and
no
behold.
such law.
Wait and behold. The minority is not happy. It's still gonna continue, take it to the so-called court on an emergency basis, and they will be allowed. You know, the only people who can get these courts to move and even listen to a crap like that, it's that what you are sitting is crap.
Some people may ask, what would cause Judge Hlophe to be going through all of this? He's going through this because it is alleged that while he was presiding over the case of former state president Jacob Zuma, he told the defense that what did he say in Zulu? I don't want to take it. Says Tembelegini madoda. For that, look at what they're doing to him.
So we are here now.
And impeachment was not enough. We kept quiet with the impeachment. We're like, okay, it's the law. The law is the law. But this law,
It has got eyes.
Oh.
It can hear.
This law now, how?
It can see. It's like that dog that is trained.
It's overkill now.
To bark at certain people and not bark at the other people.
This law is overkill now. So
let me say this before we continue. Be careful of people, even people who are said to be exposing crime and all that. But be careful of people who seemingly exposes one side. One side. You know, you can expose and expose and expose for all you
expose
want.
Everyone.
Expose everyone.
That is why when Bas Kruger was exposing whatever that they said was evidence, I was not bashing. Because I'm like, expose everything.
Yes.
Don't be exposed this thing and leave other things out and then leave and choose the demographic that you're only going to do exposures on, but leave the other demographic as if they are angels and they are saints.
We have people who are excited about exposing or even finding crime on certain people. Only. You can never find other ones wrong.
No,
that couldn't be the South Africa that I live in. That couldn't be the South Africa that I live in.
Everyone who's doing wrong must be exposed, regardless of what their color of their skin is.
And this is a problem of this country that we have, that we need to face. We are one-sided. Even people that should be defending their own, they find themselves being the darlings.
How we are tired now. Huh?
We are tired. It's tiring watching these things. The same law that was suppressing my father, my grandfather, it is now suppressing me.
Yes.
At least I cannot say what they were saying.
And the worst thing now, it hits here.
Because we see it. You know, it's like someone scamming you. While you see them, they are scamming.
And there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do. It's like a C-section. You know they are cutting you.
But there's nothing
you can do
to stop, to do anything about it. So yes, guys, that's a summary of what is going on over there with that mess at the courtroom. So Advocate Dalimpofu did his part.
Let's not talk more. Maybe we might do it. Let's continue with this one.
So Mshololo then said to Mangena, "Thank you, Kennel, for the clarification because I want to make the correct submissions when you are done." So it looked like Mshololo is saving this for submissions, but then again, Mshololo, you should have driven it home, you know. But don't worry, you know, we are still happy about what you did today. So Mshololo now went to paragraph 9 and she wanted to confirm the date. Mangena said that the date, or he started comparing after the shooting the test on the 28th. He said that he continued checking them and couldn't finish and kept on checking them daily until where he could reach a conclusion that was positive. Listen to this. This is on its own. That's
what I've been saying. This man has been sounding like a hungry, barking dog that is looking for something to bite. And when he got that chance, he used it. That's why today we are in court, in my opinion. That's why we are in court where he cannot explain where the break is. He's talking about the out of focus and whatnot. That's why we're in court. People cannot even mention the break in a bullet. It's a mess.
So he said before he could type his report, he gave it to other analysts for verification or for further comparison or verification of his results. My goodness, how long did it take to reach this positive, Nkosiyam? And what he's describing is more like he was asking them to read his report to check for spellings and context, not necessarily to check what was done with the striations of the bullet through the microscope. You know what I'm saying? It feels like that's what he's describing. He's describing that they looked at the report. The verification came from them looking at the report. What about what you had seen? Can they verify that they saw what you saw through the microscope? That is the big question here, you know. especially the testing part. We want them to verify that part. Never mind your report, But we'll wait on them to come and clarify this, because I'm sure one of them will be subpoenaed.
On the other side, when we have this physicist who's a judge who lost his calling. His calling was to be a physicist, be there in the labs with the glasses and be testing God knows whatever they are testing. Talking about the cylinder and all that, explaining a whole lot of crap. Something you don't know, where you should be listening and writing. But now you find yourself talking about out of focus. The other one is talking about out of focus. The other one is saying because the bullet is a cylinder. So now it's a cylinder, it cannot mark the whole bullet.
Hey, Ratha was kakhulu. Like, I am tired of this man. I am tired. I had no idea it was so bad. I had no idea. That's because I didn't watch any of his court cases before. Even the Richard Mdluli one, I wasn't paying attention. Even the one before that, even the HP one, I was not paying attention to him like that. But now I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? Does he enjoy what he's doing?
He cannot help himself. These questions are not to actually seek clarity, in my opinion. They are to show how smart he is, which is they're doing the opposite, actually.
No, they're not showing smart. No.
You know that person that knows everything is a liberal. You talk about soccer, I know Maradona.
Old-fashioned people used to do that a lot.
You talk about musicians.
They know.
I know.
There's nothing they don't know.
Wait, there's no one who can hear Maradona.
Balapisa.
But like, you know like everything,
that, they are tiring. People
if
like
you know
that.
everything, why don't you let God take you, boss? You are done. You've done your party. You've got nothing to learn.
There's nothing to learn. And what is life if you're not learning something new every day? I mean, what is life if you're not continuing to learn? When you know everything. Wow.
They talk about the propeller. The propeller and the cylinder. Hey, my daughter.
The propellant and the cylinder. It's a cylindrical shape. I'm like,
and today, there was an introduction of the new method, which is pattern method.
Oh my God. And then you hear some of them say, the defense is asking the same questions over and over again. So what do you say to this new information that keeps coming up with every question you consider is being repeated every day? Because with every question, we hear a different answer every day for the last 6-7 days. We've been hearing new answers. Even during the re-examination, there are some things that he was trying to change on the record.
He changed that thing of the door having the splinters. He agreed that there were no splinters. Now he's saying no, some splinters. That's where this guy Mnisi lost it.
He said that he took the photos at an angle. The angle that he took the photos at, the splinters were not visible. We move from the splinters not being there
and then
to the splinters being there but not visible. If they're not visible, does it not mean that they're not there?
He said some. Now, today he used the word some. Yesterday, the word some were not there.
I saw Mnisi's face as he was doing
it was Mboro's reaction.
I was like, I'm defeated. I'm done. Mangena, you can go. Enough is enough. Go. We are tired.
You can imagine, Gule witness side the estate. Practice every day you are going to a match, you testify it's a match. It seems as if there's practicing that is happening. You shouldn't have said, but it's fine. You can bring the angle of, you say the angle of shooting. Now you are a photographer now.
Guys, yeah. Mshololo then said, just take me step by step on paragraph 6.1. We have finished the examination. We've got findings on Monday, which is the 20th. You received another exhibit. The only thing that I want is the specific date. To say on the 20th of July, you received the exhibits on paragraph 8. You examined them on paragraph 9. What is happening there? And Mangena said that he could do it. He said that if you look at the date, he received the firearm on the 20th of July. So I'm like, why are you saying you received the firearm? You actually went and fetched it.
Did not receive it. You took it.
He went
you
there and
took
he
it.
took it.
You took it.
Hey, Manje, why are you saying you received it? Received it from who? Received it how? Because you went to the police station and you fetched it. You understand? So he said that he shot the test and then came back. Then he started with the microscopic comparison on the exhibit. And he said, I could not complete it on the 20th. I continued on to the 21st. I can't recall whether I finished on the 22nd, but then I gave it to my colleagues for verification. So he's not sure when he finished it, but he gave it to his colleagues for verification. Was it before or after you were done? We don't know.
Can you imagine being these people's colleagues? You're sitting at home, you're watching the case, and then you just realize that actually your friend has brought you in without an invitation.
Not even friend, colleague.
A colleague. Wait. You called by, you know that you're coming now. I'm sure some of them, they didn't even think this day will ever come. In fact, I can almost also bet my money that probably they didn't even test anything. You know, their name was probably used as a pony in a and there's nothing they can do because they need the job. At least the one that is retired, in my opinion. That's my opinion. You know, it's like, you know that Emily, I'm coming. Why did he use my name?
Did he call my name?
I didn't even test this thing. You know, you telling maybe telling your wife at home. Then your wife watches you on TV. We are saying something totally different. Can you imagine the day you break up with that wife? If we were to break up, what will come out of that wife's mouth? Hey, it's tough. It's tough. Wow. So now you are probably, if you are on leave, your leave has been cut short. Now you have to come for training. You have to call in for training. Because you cannot go on that stand without a proper training. I can tell you that. More so if you were just caught by surprise. Yeah. You know, maybe you just put your signature as, you know, man, Emily, your colleague comes and says, hey, man, look, I tested this thing. Can you please put your signature here?
Yeah, and you're like, Mangena is the expert. Come on now.
And then next thing you find yourself being called. What am I going to say? Now you have to study the notes because they are saying you tested 1, 2, 3.
And then, but I
have to cram that bullet.
But our striation lawa are visible and our boning a little
you're going to see that. Because you probably didn't even do anything. I doubt you went to the scope and check that thing. Now, those uzoabona ibullet lo uzo understand uzo cram uzo yazi like a test uzo ibhala ngakusasa.
I feel sorry for them.
It's painful being a policeman.
I feel painful. Sorry for them, shame.
I can tell you, some of them you can tell. Good icon. These people are not happy by being here. At some point you felt that Msia was out of it, was done. Mchali was not having it from the word go. It's a different story. Mchali was not going to have it from the word go. Was clear. I keep these keys with myself. If I'm not there, no one open.
Well, he said he received the firearm from Cleveland. He keeps saying this. He received it from Cleveland on the 20th. And he received it after he made findings.
You took at it, sir. You took at it.
on paragraph 6.1. So it means when you got the findings on 6.1, the firearm had not reached the lab at the time. And Mangena said that when it reached the lab, conclusions on 6.1, the firearm was still at Cleveland Police Station. Still, we don't know how he matched the Cleveland firearm case. We still don't quite understand that part. There's a big question mark.
No, you know today that there are invisible markings that are there. They are there in the name of Jesus.
Only he can see
Only
them.
he and the God can see
They
it.
are out of focus, but he can see them. And the judge
And
says
the judge
they're
also
cylindrical.
can see them.
He
That's
can
why
also
he was
see
explaining the cylindrical part, which in my case it was immaterial.
It was very much immaterial, but he can see them. He put it on record that he could see them. And Mshololo then said, and then when you found negative results in paragraph 6, then you went to Cleveland to fetch the firearm on the 20th or on the date thereafter. Mangena said that's correct after finding the inconclusive findings, not negative findings, inconclusive findings. Mshololo was laughing at this point, you know. She was sure in a jovial mood today. So when you say it's negative, it means it has not fired in the firearm. That's what Mangena is saying. That if you say it's negative, then it means the shot has not been taken at all. So low conclusive, Lorna, means not a match. Basically, we have a negative and it's interpreted as not, that negative is interpreted as not doing anything at all, in my opinion. So inconclusive, it can be inconclusive or positive, according to Mangena.
So you can imagine how many cases are left into the state of inconclusive, because you can still take it and I almost said change it and make it a positive. But it would be fitting to say that.
It would be fitting to say that. There should be a negative. Where is it? How? The negative is when you don't even use the firearm. What is that? Then Mshololo said it's an inconclusive result which did not give a positive match. And Mangena said that's correct. Mshololo went on to analyze Mangena's findings. She asked him, is it correct that when you do the comparison on a comparison microscope, there is a set of rules that are established internationally that you work according to? Mangena asked, what a set of rules, what is that? Milao, rules. And Mshololo said, maybe I can say it is the set of rules.
These people, they've done whatever they've done to such an extent that they even forgot that there are rules in this world. I'm just thinking out loud. That's not
Namung Shokila a set of what set of rules? I'm like, hey bo, can't they, don't you guys have like
what is that? Eh?
So he said it's the stand procedure or it's just method that you follow. And Mangena said that the method or procedure that they use, that's the only thing he'll say. And Mshololo said, and one of those procedures is CMS. Mangena said, normally we were using pattern matching.
Wait, I wanted to talk about that.
But the CMS was also introduced.
I wanted to talk about that.
It was only...
We will answer your calls, guys, once we're done.
Pattern matching.
Don't worry. Be patient with us. We will finish just now. You know, when you studied, for those who studied, unlike those ones who are hiring people with no metrics, that's a political part. People are just hiring willy-nilly. People are going to school to study. You are telling them to go to school. We are even paying for those people in NSFAS. You go and hire a matriculant to become your administrator. There's someone who's holding a degree. One of the person, I was talking to one person who was willing to be a domestic worker with an honors in admin.
Business administration. What nonsense are we in now?
It's a different story for another day. But if you understand the books, how they come, there's version edition 8, edition 7. This is what I'm thinking of, this pattern theory. It falls under the, what you call it, what is it, CMS. It falls under CMS.
Yes.
CMS swallowed it. Once CMS was introduced, it covered everything that was covered on the pattern plus more.
Yes.
That's what is happening.
Yes.
But this guy is now making it two separate theories that are speaking something totally different. You can test using CMS. It's enough because it looks at the patterns that is talking. This thing was called pattern
matching
at the time. Now later on it was modified and called CMS. Now he's saying it as if he's talking about two theories.
Two different theories.
It doesn't need you to go to the book to actually see that this man is making this thing up. CMS has pattern matching on inside it.
Yes.
There is no theory or principle that he brought and said, this principle is not there on CMS. In fact, CMS even has principles.
Yes, it's more highly advanced. In fact, it's what happened when he was explaining this.
It's
even
like
Mr. Peterson's face. Did you see Mr. Peterson's face as he was explaining?
It's disgusting, man.
It's like he was stunned. And I was like,
Now he's making it as if now there's a new theory or a new story where you can test the bullet and find things different. In fact, that theory, in my humble submission, it was introduced for the autofocus or the cylinder that could not be explained, to say that the pattern matching actually says this. Because that's where they're trying to explain it to. They failed, in my opinion. He failed to explain it to that extent. But that's where the breaking and everything, that the way he's reading it, where he sees it here and then sees it at the end, in the middle there's nothing, so he wanted to cater for that, and then he said pattern theory. Come on.
Well, he said they were using pattern matching, but the CMS was also introduced. It was introduced, but it was not yet applied, but they kept also trying on using it. And Mshololo said, when was it introduced, CMS? And Mangena said they started using it after 2014 when they had went for the workshop in Cape Town. So Mshololo then asked him, consecutive matching striation, which method did you use?
He's running away from that. That's it. Those are things that are coming from CMS. Because it's what is called consecutive matching striation. That's CMS.
Mangena said there are instances where you apply both of them.
That consecutive is killing them. Because what is happening, there's a break. And then this CMS theory says if there's a break, then that is inconclusive. That's why they are seeing the striations, even those are in those invisible, with invisible grooves. They are seeing it. It's there. It's killing them, this consecutive matching striations.
Dilulu is the Solulu. Why does he not want to acknowledge that there's a break?
Because this standard
matching striation
are a problem to explain. Now I'm gonna bring the old version from edition 3 or edition. Forget about edition 8, which is consecutive matching striations. I'm gonna revert back because I cannot explain this thing under these principles. Let me just use the pattern. What does the pattern theory entails when Mangena? Give us. Let us see. Maybe compare side by side between these two theories. Let us see if one does not supersede the other.
I remember him. I'm about to get to the part, but what I briefly can recall from my mind is when he said that it means that the markings are there. They don't have to follow a pattern as long as they are there.
Do you see?
And I'm
the pattern was there to debunk CMS.
Aibo. He was dribbling us here. He was dribbling us.
Angithi bank dribble na dribbleka na. Uthi bank hayi umntanza kaholanga kana next akunanto engenile.
But dribbling us, guys.
It's common cause. I should uba lo engafuni ukaffirm ukuthi they actually talked about these things or not.
Guys, is this what happens in the court?
Big words. Kulomzuzu, you cannot do research mizuzu because
You
they
are
are keeping you
innocent.
inside. They are saying their investigation
How are
is
you
gonna
gonna
be.
do your own research?
Listen to this. They will say their investigation is gonna be disturbed by you. They don't want bail for you.
Well, Mshololo said when you are comparing the striations in terms of CMS, you have to find one group of 6 striations or 2 groups of 3 striations in the same relative position. And Mangena said that's correct. So Mshololo Uti, I want us to use this formula to calculate the striations. Can you tell me the difference between the pattern method and the CMS? Mangena said CMS, you are speaking of striation lines that are created by a firearm in the firing process. It could have 6 matching striations or 2 sets of 3, but in the same relative position. But when you are talking about a pattern, you can have striations that make a certain pattern. It would be the same pattern that is created by those striations, so that when you will be using both.
Now you see, pattern is not complete. Pattern is saying as long as line it does not matter. That's the match.
So it's possible to apply them both simultaneously, Mshololo asked, and Mangena said that's correct. So Mshololo asked him, do you also agree with me, Kenel, that the consecutive matching striation, it means that the striations which are counting must follow each other? There cannot be a difference or a break between the striations? Mangena said, when we refer to a break, what are we referring to?
Exactly that one. You should have said the one that you said is invisible. That's a break. But you did say it, Mshololo.
Because that break can be what we call a pattern. Haibo guys. Haibo umangena uzenzo Popeye uCocomelon. How? This answer, I do not accept it. No, Mshololo explained what she meant when she is referring to a break. For me, it's the red flag that he does not want to understand what Mshololo says when she's talking about a break in between those striations. Because we'll all know, according to him and the judge, from yesterday's cross-examination with Advocate Nxumalo, there were no breaks. They saw invisible striations. That's me. That's my opinion. I'm like, how can you not want to acknowledge that there are breaks now, while you are the one who works on these things on a daily basis? So you're telling us there are no breaks all of a sudden. Ow, Mangena. Then Mshololo said these consecutive striations have to line up. We have the left-hand side, which is the exhibit bullet, and the right-hand side, which is the test bullet. So Mangena said that's correct. Then Mshololo said these lines have to line up, and they must be of the correct width. They must also be of the same height. In other words, is that these consecutive matching striations, they must line up and must be in their same height and in their same width. In other words, they must be the same. In other words, the other one should not be bigger or have a wider, and the other one be thin. They must be of the same size. So Mangena said, when you say they must be the same width and the same thickness, you look at the type of ammunition we are using here. We are using a CMJ, it's a soft bullet, so the reaction of the CMJ will not always be the same, and it must be put into consideration.
Just for those who are interested in this pattern matching and consecutive matching. So pattern matching refers to the process of checking a sequence. There is a sequence even there. Consecutive sequence is the same sequence of data, such as let me see, pattern matching, consecutive striation. We will answer your calls, guys. I see someone is calling persistently.
Yeah, we'll answer just.
Consecutive mark striation is a term that might be specific to a niche field of application. It's not the widely recognized one. Let me see. It could refer to analyzing and identifying patterns of consecutive marks striation. Do you understand? That's what they are saying here. It's the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say. The other one is even much more better, much more polished.
Consecutive marking striations. Consecutive. That's the key word there that they added that makes everything good. But Mangena doesn't want to acknowledge.
No, doesn't.
So Mshololo then said, do you agree with me that when we are calculating the first set of 6 striations or 2 groves of striations, if there's a break in between, you have to stop counting and count afresh above the break? And Mangena said it will depend on what they are looking for. So if they're looking for 1 grove, they count all the striations in that 1 grove. So if they're looking for 6 striations in 1 grove, irrespective of the gap that is there, they are all in 1 grove. They are created by 1 grove. So they count them all because they are in 1 grove. And then Mshololo said, but that's not the method in terms of CMS. Mangena said it is the method.
Now, Emil, I think I got it now. Pattern matching in a ballistic typically involves analyzing and comparing the unique marking left on a bullet and the cartridge cases when fired from the particular firearm. These markings are used to identify or match the firearm to a bullet or a cartridge case found in a crime scene. Key aspects include striations. The rifling in a gun barrel imparts unique grooves and lengths on a bullet as it is fired. These striations can be analyzed and compare to match the bullet to specific firearm. Firing pin impression. The marks left on the firing pin on a cartridge case are unique to firearm and can be used to match a case to a specific weapon. And then breech face marks. The impression left, this is when you're breeching your gun, I think. The impression left by the breeching face of the firearm on the cartridge case. Now, this is where you're testing the cartridge. And then there's microscope, obviously, that is being used in comparison. Now, consecutive marking striations, which is CMS. Consecutive marking striations is more specialized term that may refer to specific types of striation observed on a ballistic. Consecutive marks, these are sequential or consecutive striations or impression found on a bullet or a cartridge case. They might be analyzed to understand a sequence of firing or to identify a unique characteristics of a fire. Striation patterns. The CMS concept could involve looking at a pattern of striation that occur in a series of sequence. There's always a sequence with this one. It's not just general, which might provide additional context or detail about the fire or the firing process. Then there's forensic application. Ballistic might be used to refine the comparison and identify, focusing on patterns of consecutive striations, which can be particularly useful in distinguishing between the firearm and similar rifling patterns. You see, this is where this expert is saying similar. There is a distinguishing between the firearms with similar riflings. There are those who have similar riflings.
That is what Mangena doesn't want to acknowledge, though, because Mshololo is saying the same width, the same length, they are the same, they are similar, right? He doesn't want to acknowledge the similaritiness of how they're supposed to look.
Even here they are saying, in summary, with both pattern matching and CMS are used in ballistic for forensic analysis, but CMS represents more specialized approach to examining the specific pattern of striation found on the ballistic evidence. So now that's why it's leaning more on where there are less rules. Rules are eased out on in terms of what we call pattern matching.
Well, Mshololo now asked for Mangena's chart to be shown, and she even wanted him to use a water bus. Mangena said that they have never used a water bus before. The judge jokingly asked if they've ever used the water pass, and he said that it's for building, for bricks. Mshololo completely blue ticked him, and the judge then
He was
addressed.
not joking. He was not. That was not a joke. He was in support of that thing not being used.
And then the judge also addressed. Okay, Mshololo was blue ticking the judge, and she decided, let me look at Mangena instead. Let me just look at Mangena and ignore what is happening here. And she said, Kendall, with due respect, I'm respecting you. I'm not undermining you. I know it's not from the lab, but it's what I want you to use to help me understand, to see the lines there in the court chart. And Mangena completely refused and said that the water pass will not work. Then they resorted to using a pointer, and he said that the line is there. So it seemed that Mshololo could not see that line he was talking about. Then the pointer was given to Mshololo, and it was handed to her to show Mangena the striations that she was talking about. But they said that Mshololo must speak the labels on the chart, on the record, for the record, even though with his examination in chief of Mangena, he did not, I repeat, there was no mentioning of labels, of striations. So Mshololo pointed this out to say, you know what, when I don't understand, because when you were conducting your evidence, there was no mention of, but it's fine. I will continue with it. And the judge also had a problem with Mshololo when she was making her complaint, and she said that the witness is unable to use that water pass.
Let us like the video, guys. You know why, Emil? Because that water pass was simply like a roller. It was going to show from here to the top. These things, they actually don't match. They are slant. It was going to probably slant
that
because
bubble.
that will be a next groove. They will try now to match it to a next groove.
Oh, that bubble! Like it tells you
that
when
paper
it's
is printed in bold, in big. You can see the grooves here.
So when you put the water pass like this,
it was not gonna be straight.
That ball was supposed to keep the same position.
Yes, to show it's
so
that's why they didn't want to.
Guys, they are playing us, these people. Ow.
That's why they didn't want to. Even Mnisi wanted to do that. That's why they didn't.
That's why Mnisi bought the water pass. Because I'm thinking, what are they gonna do with it? But then when you remember water pass, that bubble has to stay in the same position as he's doing this.
That was gonna be a problem.
So if Igar or it like this, the bubble changes position.
So they realized, which I just realized that I am screwed.
And you know what the water pass was also going to do? It was going to give him an opportunity to go through each and every striation that he says is there as they are all watching. So that even the invincible ones.
They didn't want to use that because it was going to expose them, in my opinion.
Wow. But I also have to give it to Mshololo for completely ignoring the judge and continuing with her cross-examination.
It didn't help in this case because here he wanted to find what Mnisi could not also find because of.
They are
blocking it. They know what is going. Water pass. Water pass is all about straight line.
Yes.
So it was gonna mess the whole thing up.
Now Mangena said that when the bullet is bent in the middle, there will not be striations there because they will not be transferred to your exhibit. Your exhibit will not be touching the surface of the barrel. But if you look towards the end...
You know what the funny thing is? He's talking about the bullet being bent in the middle. Here's the question they should have. Were all these bullets therefore bent in the middle? All of them. Show me one that was not bent in the middle so that we can be consistent with your theory.
So he's trying to explain the gap. the reason why
it was
only he can see striations and
the
everyone else can't.
striations could not, the barrel could not, basically what he's saying, the barrel could not touch the bullet because the bullet was bent. It was not straight bullet. Didn't have, the powder and all these things that he put in. So it was binomkotinyana, that's what he was trying to say.
He said, but if you look towards the end there, it's the same striation that we are talking about.
You see, the ones that they did not want to match using the water pass.
Mshololo then said, I'm saying between striation number 2 and 3, there is a break because there are 3 striations that do not line up or match. On the other side, they only appear on the left-hand side. They do not go to the right-hand side. And Mangena said the same striations I explained yesterday. I said if the bullet is not straight, there won't be striations because it does not touch the barrel of the gun. If you continue here,
all
they
bullets not straight? 8 of the tests that you did, were they all not straight?
Mshololo then said, if you go, it doesn't match with this one. Then Mangena said, they match here. They're not that clear.
There is in ghost matching.
Then Mshololo said, let's agree to say that they are not that clear. Mangena said, I can see them. You say you cannot see.
They shouldn't even have agreed that they are not clear. They should have said, we do not see them.
They should say, we do not see them. Ne?
If you are dealing with Ratha, you should make things clear.
Came to Mangena's rescue or was attempting to come to Mangena's rescue and asked, is it because the bullet is cylindrical? It must be cylindrical. Mangena agreed with him, even though it doesn't make sense.
And then later he explained the issue of out of focus. After agreeing with that theory of cylindrical, you first talk about out of focus because of cylindrical. So now you're combining it together. It's cylindrical, hence don't expect the judge's explanation is so foolish to such an extent that it says because the bullet is cylindrical, you do not expect the consecutive striations, which is on its own against the theory of CMS.
Yes.
The physics.
Well, Mangena said, Mshololo asked him, do I understand you correctly when you say it's not visible due to the making of the bullet? And Mangena said, no, not necessarily. The make of the bullet, but how the bullet reacted when the shot was fired. Remember this pressure. What happens when a shot is fired? The propellant powder that is burning turns into gas. That gas pushes the bullet into the barrel. The bullet is a little bit bigger in diameter than the barrel of your firearm. There is pressure from behind pushing the bullet into the barrel, and because it does not fit there, it's a little bit bigger. The pressure that is coming from behind will push it. At one stage, it will sort of contrast a little bit, creating a curve like when a person... Guys, I'm sorry.
So in layman's term, for those who do not understand, he is saying a bullet is in an area where it's like a situation where you are in an area where you cannot expand. You're hitting the wall up front, you're hitting the wall on the other side. So something is squashing you. So you contrast because you cannot go up front, you cannot go left or do that thing and stable bullet move out. You are in an area where you cannot move anywhere, so you contrast, and then obviously the shape of a bullet changes. That's it. But there's a hole where the bullet is supposed to go. When it hits at the back, it moves to a direction where it's supposed to. It doesn't need to contrast.
Well, he said the pressure that is coming from behind will push it. At one stage, it will sort of contrast a little bit, creating a curve like where a person part of the bullet will not be in contact with the bottom of the firearm so that it won't have clear marks.
Which kills the consecutive theory. So they did not look at that, those aspects of ballistics. They did not. Because they shouldn't have then created this theory. Mangena has just implemented his theory. to say that the matching striations should have a break all the time or be invisible due to the fact that the bullet, when it's hit at the back, it contrasts and changes the shape, and then it might lose the other side of the barrel, therefore not creating the grooves that are necessary for them to leave the striations there inside.
So basically, he's trying to explain why the striations are not clear. So Mshololo then said to him, I put it to you that there on the striation is indicated that is not a visible striation. Therefore, it means it's a break, and therefore it does not give consecutive marks which you can count from 1 to 6 matching striations. And Mangena said, my lord, if they are not visible, it does not mean they are not there. So the way the judge was annoyed, there was an adjournment, but he forgot to let everybody know when they should come back like he usually does. I didn't know whether it's going to be 15 minutes or 30 minutes or what. He just got up. And when they came back, Mshololo continued, and she said he also indicated other marks not clearly visible because the barrel was worn out. And Mangena said yes, and the result of the marks that were not transferred constantly to the test, Mangena said correct, the barrel is worn out. There is slippage. And Mshololo said, we are in agreement with striation 1. It lines up and it's visible on both sides of the same width. Number 2, we also agree visible both sides. And number 3, we worked on it. Number 4, it's not clear. You see there's no striation. Mangena said number 4, it is there. So he could see the number 4 striation. And Mshololo said number 5 striation on the right is lower. It's not equally matching. And Mangena said it's also there, visible on both sides. And Mshololo said, but the one on the right is slightly higher than on the left. And Mangena said, that's number 4. And Mshololo said, no, that's number 5. Let's move to number 6. I also disagree with you there. It's also not clear. And Mangena said, when you look at this part, it becomes out of focus. But number 6 is there. And the judge said that he was asking for himself now. He said, oh, it's for me. I'm asking for me.
When you ask for him, you must know that he's debunking.
These striations, you actually saw them by using the microscope, ne? And Mangena said, that's correct. So if he saw them using the microscope, why did the judge yesterday say that he can see them?
You know what the funny thing about this judge? The funny thing about that question is that this man is going to make a ruling on the basis of what he saw. So if he's saying that he cannot see some of these things and supporting Mangena that you can only see them using the microscope, what is he going to rule on?
He's going to rule on that Mangena saw them through the microscope.
Guys, please like the video. Thank you, let me see who said this. BBM. Thank you. Let us like the video. BBM has said it. That guys, please like the video. It's not happy. We have 638 viewers, and currently we are on 381 likes.
We can do better than that.
We can do better.
Yes, we can. That's the point to judge, Ashari. That's the point. You are using a microscope which you were twisting and turning. But here you are using the naked eye. You are using the waterpas. But in the laboratory, you were using a double microscope. Throwing shade at the use of a waterpas that he refused to use. Mangena said that's correct, and the judge is visibly upset, in my opinion.
So the judgment is gonna be a fallacy judgment.
Yes.
It's because you could see, then I saw.
Yes.
Right.
So the judge was mumbling there. I did not hear what he was saying. Then Mshololo moved on to ask Mangena, the reason why I'm taking you through this exercise is because this is an exhibit before this court. This is the evidence before this court which depicts striations you were able to see when you were examining in the microscope. Otherwise, you would not have printed this if it is good for nothing. It's not good for nothing. It's the evidence before this court which must be accepted as reliable evidence. And I'm saying it's not reliable. Mangena said it's very much reliable. Denial. And Mshololo said, and you agree with me that we could not take the microscope as it is and put it before this court so that we can all see what you saw when you were doing the examination. We are relying on this document that you have provided for this court.
That was a jab to the judge.
And Mangena said, that's correct. We cannot bring the microscope to court.
That was a jab to the judge to say that keep quiet, because you are also relying on these papers that you seem to be defending the usage or the manner in which you are questioning this witness. Just keep quiet. Let me ask for clarity so that you can be clarified, for not this thing of fallacy of saying that because, therefore. You know that thing of camera never lies.
Yes.
It's a fallacy, that thing.
Especially
it's like saying that Mangena cannot lie.
It's saying that Mangena cannot lie. And then Mshololo said, and this exhibit is called the court chart. Baloyi stood to object and said that the preposition that Mangena is the only one who looked through the microscope is not correct. And this is where I got my aha moment, okay? This objection.
He did say he's going to bring these people.
And they are going to say and confirm allegedly
and I told you guys, then you said that one of you said it doesn't work like that. Yes, here it works in Ratha's
Their
court.
testimony will be, I looked through the microscope and I saw what Mangena saw. And that will be good enough for the judge to write his judgment. Allegedly. Mshololo said, I am not talking about the hearsay of who saw what through the microscope. I'm talking about the document that is before the court, which has been presented as evidence. Mshololo asked for her Vater pass back. And the judge said that it had nothing to do with this case. I was upset, Brat. He was in his feelings, okay? And the judge said there is an impression that some aspect is not visible to the naked eye. Then he said that it has nothing to do with this case.
It has everything to do with this case. That's what we are saying. You are literally saying what we could not see, what could be called a break, is not visible.
And yesterday he said he saw the striations, Mos.
And yesterday you
with
did
Mangena.
say you saw them with your own glasses.
He agreed with him. He said he can see them. When Mnisi said, I can't see. He said he could see them. So, yeah. And expect that not visible in the naked eye to make an appearance on his judgment, allegedly. It might pop up while he's reading his judgment to say, if it's not seen in the visible naked eye,
therefore,
allegedly,
I saw through the eyes of Mangena.
Mshololo to Mangena said, I just want to take you through the integrity of receiving and handling exhibits at the ballistics. That procedure was not followed. They were not received by Forensic Science Laboratory. Mangena said it was received properly if I signed for it. That is the procedure that must be followed, and I brought it to the lab for analysis. So the procedure for the handling of the exhibit will be booked out by the individual sending the exhibit to the ballistics. And Mangena said the exhibit will be booked at SAP 13 by a police officer who will sign the SAP 13 and submit a copy of this appointment certificate and bring the exhibit to the lab. And that did not happen in this case. Mangena said that it happened. It did not happen, Mangena, but you are saying it happened. The interpreter then said that the advocate is speaking over him all the time and he has to complain. He was literally launching a complaint against the advocate, Mshololo, saying that Mshololo was speaking over him, and Mshololo apologized. The judge said, Miss Mshololo, what are you saying? Are you saying the firearm was never in the laboratory? And Mshololo said that she was asking about the procedure not being followed because it was not sent to the lab, but it was booked out by ballistic experts who was going to do the examination in the lab. So the judge said that he thought that it was sent to someone else. And Mangena insisted that the procedure
was followed. Mangena said that he had the right to book it out of the SAP-13 if he was not happy with his test. Again, he speaks as if he tested the firearm before fetching it from Cleveland, in my opinion. But then Mshololo asked him, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have the powers of bending all the rules. I'm just taking you step by step. And Mshololo also said to him, all the exhibits submitted in the lab must go through the administration system. Mangena said she was not correct. If the case is registered at the lab, like you are receiving the firearm for IB's testing, they are not registered at the case reception. They come straight to the lab, then you shoot the test, then they go back. Mangena said he did not have to register it because he went to fetch it and he was busy working on it. And if this exhibit had been processed through the administration system, he would have the proof of the date as to when they received it at the ballistic laboratory, according to Mshololo. But Mangena said that the proof is that he signed for it at the SAP-13 police station. In his report, he mentioned the day he worked on it, which was the same day. So Mshololo asked him, but here is no proof at the administration system at the ballistic laboratory confirming what you are telling this court. And Mangena said, as I had already stated with the testing of the firearm and comparing of the test to the firearm with my exhibit. So for me to have the firearm re-examined for additional tests, there's no procedure that I must wait for somebody to go and fetch it. I can go sign for it, come with it, shoot it, test it for further investigation. So Mshololo asked him, for how long did you keep this exhibit before doing the examination? And Mangena said that he went to fetch it at the police station and then fired the shot immediately. After that, it was in his safe. Mshololo laughed and said that the lab was not aware that they had received it in the system. It was kept by him in his private safe. Mangena said it was not a private safe, it was an exhibit safe. What's the difference, Mshololo Yambuza? What's the difference? Because it was not booked at the administration system. No one in the lab could have access to that firearm if it was in your possession at all material time. And Mangena said, if I sign for the exhibit, no one will have access to it. It will be in my exhibit safe. So this was pretty much giving, whether he signs it at the administration office or not, it doesn't make a difference. They power. Just come in and go out with firearms as they please in that lab, which sounds very wrong.
It is, but it is correct. I get it wrong, correct.
Okay. Mshololo then said, in the handling of all the other exhibits, you keep them to yourself. And Mangena said when he is done, he returns it to the safe. So, Colonel, I put it to you that the integrity of this exhibit, the manner in which it was recovered, handled, received by the ballistics, leaves much to be desired. Mangena said he does not agree on that. Mshololo said, you never agree because you were bending the rules. And Mangena said no rules were broken. Mshololo said she would leave it for argument. Asked if he is an analyst or an expert, Mangena said that he is an analyst. It depends on the court whether he's an expert or not. Mshololo thanked him for being honest with his credentials. Now, on the knowledge of crime scene, which was not cordoned off properly, members of the public and the police had access to that crime scene. Baloyi objected and said that no one of the photos of Musia actually saw or showed that the scene had been cordoned off. But from my recollection or seeing on the media, that guy.
It's Dilul. There's a guy who came and testified that they went to the scene.
They
went out. They went to the hospital
to check.
Back. They came back and cordoned it off after that. It was already at the time. There was even someone who was there. You know, this guy. He's got guts.
And on top of it, the photo he's talking about, it was during the day.
It was not Msia.
It was not Msia.
It was the guys who were at the scene first.
Yes, Msia just took the photo in the morning, and it was during the day while the incident happened at night. So Mshololo asked him about the importance of cordoning off the crime scene and the importance of guarding the crime scene by the SAPS. Mangena said it's to guard the people so that they don't enter the crime scene. So in order to preserve the crime scene and the exhibits, to ensure that there's no tampering of the crime scene. And Mangena said that it's to also reduce movement into the crime scene, not to actually stop it, to reduce it.
Felt like he was too honest there. Thank you.
She asked about that bullet that was seen the following day on the kitchen counter. Mangena said that it happens that you miss something and recover it the next day at a crime scene. Regarding taking measurements from the suspects, he said any member of the LCRC can do that. In the case of ballistic related, you need an analyst. It is ballistically related by wanting to determine the trajectory and the height. So Mshololo asked him, how do you know that without the position of the person? How do you know that you want to looking for a specific height if the positioning of the person who was firing the shot is not known to you? And when you really think about it, did he know the position? Because he said he never spoke to the people that were in the house. So Mangena said that he looked at the entrance open wound. He said that's what gives him the height. So you're only working with the body of the deceased. No witnesses. So Mangena said that it helps with reconstruction. So Mshololo said, I also put it to you that taking measurements from the accused persons is solely the duty of any general member of the SAPS, and you were not supposed to go and conduct any part of that investigation. And Mangena said he would do his own measurements so he can put his own trajectory. And then Mshololo said to him, Colonel, I put it to you that when you were doing the examination in paragraph 9, you were no longer objective after having done the investigation. You were not supposed to do it because you had an added interest. And that is why after receiving the first negative results in paragraph 6, you did not stop. That's why you ended up going to the police station, booking out an exhibit, and coming back and forcing the results that you came into conclusion in this report. This is what made my day. This is what I needed to hear from the defense. To me, this was a rap. But then Mangena said, my lord, I was objective in this matter from the beginning until the end. And then Mshololo said, but the facts speak for itself. And she ended her cross-examination. And I was like, yes. That is how you wrap a cross-examination of an expert. So the judge wanted Baloyi to do the re-examination immediately. It was so bad. There was no even lunch break. So the judge asked Mangena before Baloyi started about the postmortem. Why did you go there? Was it ballistic related or was it on your own accord? And Mangena said that it was ballistic related. The clothing of the deceased, or the clothing that the deceased wore, the judge asked about the clothing, and Mangena said that he saw it and there was a burning on the entrance wound. So I don't understand what the judge was trying to get to here.
You don't? Emil, you just finished it, Mus.
What is he? Why is he asking about the postmortem stuff?
Let me go with you. Mshololo put the assertion to the witness that he went above and beyond by going and measuring the so-called accused.
The accused.
It was not his duty to do that. Then the judge comes with a theory that we're there in the autopsy site. Who's responsible for autopsy? It's people who are responsible for your DNAs and everything else. Those people who are responsible for, and the guy has come and testified.
Forensic
pathologist. Yes. But he was there.
Yes.
Nonetheless. Because it also helped with the ballistic also analysis of where the bullet got in and how the scene replaying. Actually, it helps with how the scene was or must look like. In a sense, the judge is saying it's okay. You did went to check for these people's height, But also you did went to the autopsy. No one is asking you about that. Why not? That's what the judge was saying, because even that can be said to be not your duties.
Okay.
Do you understand now?
So he was
debunking the line of questioning of Mshololo when it comes to measurements.
So he's justifying that it's okay for him to just haphazardly work.
As long as he says it's ballistic to him.
Okay.
So he was explaining the ballistic issues there, the burning and all that. So it was okay for him to be there.
So Mnisi asked about the DNA that was taken from the fingernails of the deceased. Whoever made that fingernail DNA disappear, honey. It's gone, it seems. So Mangena said that he did not look into it, and he said that it was sent to biology for analysis. Do you guys still think that fingernail DNA from the body of the deceased is still
if
there?
it was there intact, there's only one person I would like this thing to be tested.
Who?
It's long. That's it. I'm just saying, if I was to choose a person in that house that I would test this thing against, then I would rest my case after that.
And this sharpness to make this particular evidence just vanish. This is where you see the power at work here. It's big. So Baloyi started with his re-examination. Baloyi wanted the literature that Ramasipile used for the principles of theory of identification. Ramasipile said that Mr. Mangena had his own document that he was referring him to. He didn't have any literature that he was using to cross-examine him. He said he will come back to it later. And in my opinion, Baloyi was just all over the place. His cross-examination, re-examination. Ooh. And then he said in cross-examination, you compiled the charts and have identified the marks for all to see. And then Mnisi objected and said, you cannot say for all to see. You understand? Because some of us, we did not see what Mangena was seeing. So Baloyi also was trying to sneak in there that they all saw those marks.
Monkey tricks.
And the judge was like, some of them didn't see. It's semantics. For all to see doesn't mean for all to see if they can be able
Trying
to see
justify,
it. You know?
Making it about English.
Oh my goodness. And also the issue that there were no errors. A colleague returned an inconclusive decision, you know, and I was like, okay, so here it seems like they are trying to really justify that there was someone who verified Mangena's work. And I kept thinking to myself then, you know, if he won't admit that he makes mistakes, it's even worse, because if it turns out that he was wrong, it means he did this on purpose.
Yeah.
Would it have had him to admit that he does mistakes?
It would.
It would help, ne? And then also he was talking about the slippage of the bullet before it entered the barrel, and the splintering issue now. The splinters, saying that the splinters were not visible in his photo album. Some of them were there but not visible. He took the photo from an angle. So the angle that he took that photo in, which completely changed the evidence from the splinters not being there, that he admitted
because they could not answer for them being down there. Did you see them? No, I did not see them. All of a sudden, no, yeah. Some of them.
So Ratha asked for Mangena's hierarchy at work, who he was answering to. He said he's the third in command. So the one at the top is Brigadier Mkabela. Then he answers to Colonel Mutsepe. So why does he want these names? He wants to also call them to come and testify and speak on Mangena's character.
He wants superiority. It's those, if one of them can say they saw and they looked at the work that this man did with regards to this, then it's game over. But then the intelligence of Ngomezulu, the seasoned lawyer, he stood up to say, did your commander check on you? Who was your commander and all that, which is sort of saying, leave no room open for this person to come and lie here. You tell us if they did look at that or not.
What did he say? He said he didn't.
They didn't.
Okay, that's good. Because can you imagine having to drag your senior now to come? Well, also there are 3 offices of ballistics. Apparently, one is in Ezimtoti in KZN, another one Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape, and the head office is in Pretoria. And the judge emphasized on how it's the main office, the one in Pretoria, the one that Mangena is based in, and that there are about 20 ballistic analysts that are serving 7 provinces. So he said that the bulk of the work is done by them. So already creating maybe an impression that they are overloaded. Superiority.
We are the best. That's what he was doing there. It's not about overloading and whatnot.
Okay.
It was we are the
they
best.
Are the best. All right. So Colonel Motsepe is his commander.
Don't expect him to sing from a different hymn. I'm just saying.
And
if
the
he was
next
to be called.
witness is Colonel Sireo, the one who did confirmed. Is he the one who did it after he did it to Mangena? Colonel Sireo. The one who...
It's a straightforward. It's smash and grab.
Yeah.
You know.
So guys, I'm done. The lines are now open for those of you guys who've been calling.
Yes.
And we were like, no, not yet, not yet. Now I'm finally done, guys.
While I'm
Hopefully
waiting for you
still
guys.
Around.
While I'm waiting for you guys, Mr. Anonymous and Emily, radio, because they had an interview of 2 black guys who were jailed for 20 years. Let me take the call. Mzansi, hello.
Dumelang bana ba ko gae le kae?
Re teng le kae?
Yeah, ba re go la go Tuesday. Today I miss home, so I'm speaking in Setswana today because I miss home.
Oh, home is
but
nice.
Anyway, yes, it's always good to, when I slightly do medicine Setswana, you must speak back to me Setswana, because now I'm sick and tired of US all the time. We speak English all the time. So when you have an opportunity to do Setswana, greet me back Setswana, guys. Greet me when I greet you.
Every day.
Yeah. Well, in the interest of time, I just have, I think I should just quickly go into it so that other people can have an opportunity to also comment and make a comment.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make 2 comments today. I'm not going to really dwell into the case because I've missed quite a bit this week due to work commitments and stuff like that. But I think you guys have done a really good job reviewing everything that happened in there, right?
Yes.
When I was growing up, my father used to say, your knowledge and skills can get you to the top, but your character is what will keep you there. Okay. Until this day, I carry those words with me. And, and for you to maintain good character, you need to have self-awareness, and you need to always reflect on your behavior and ask yourself, how is my behavior going to impact the people around me? And you also need to ask yourself, if I do this thing, if I take this action, and I talk to somebody about it, what are they going to say? You know what I mean? And now going back to the kennel, based on what has unfolded this week under cross-examination, especially by Mnisi, right? I think before I get into what I want to say, I just want to put a disclaimer and say whatever I'm going to say is my opinion, and it's not that of the channel, and it is. And I'll put the word alleged, right? Okay. Now, just just make that clear and get it out of the way. Yep. Now, in my opinion, I don't want to believe that the Colonel Mangena had good character from the beginning. Okay. I do not believe that he ever had any integrity. Hence, he partook in whatever went down. Okay, I will not put a word to whatever went down. I will leave it up to the listeners to put a name on it. But we all can see exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
Whether he did he did so voluntarily or he was coerced. The jury is still out on that one.
Yes.
However, what is clear to most of us, those with common sense and integrity, it's quite obvious that something nefarious and sinister happened.
Yeah.
Okay? Because the competence of the men whom we all observed during Mr. Pistorius' trial is now questionable. And what a disgrace it is, right? So, but at least I'm happy that he made it very clear to us yesterday that he is not an expert, but he's an analyst, right? So at least we can be happy that he did not.
Yes.
He made that very clear to us that he's not.
Yes.
So we can be quite. Now, moving on to the next. Something unfolded in the media this week about a certain man that I will not mention, but I think most people would know who I'm talking about. This man has no shame accusing people who are doing their job of seeking fame and attention. Yet he is the one who is running around speaking to the media at every opportunity that is availed to him. That man said two things this week that had the hairs on the back of my neck standing.
Yes,
all right?
Yes.
He described this court case as a thing. Okay? So to him, the death of another parent's child is a thing. You know? I'm not even going to spend time talking about that because that alone should tell us about the kind of person that we're dealing with here. Right? So I'm not going to get into the And then the second thing, he made it very clear that his son will never go down for the deletion of soccer star. Okay, he said it with so much confidence. Okay, now family, this case is bigger than my 5 brothers that are sitting in that dock accused of this heinous crime. Okay, these guys are just sacrificial lambs in the story. Okay, it has become obvious that this trial is no longer about justice for the Meyiwas, but it is about protecting certain individuals. Who those people are, the jury is still out on that one. Hopefully in due time, we'll know who these people are.
Yes.
You know, that man uttered those words with so much confidence because, in my opinion, I think he knows people's secrets. Okay? If by the grace of God a miracle happens and his son goes down for this heinous crime, this man is going to expose each and every single one of those people.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm thinking that there are 2 possibilities here. Right now, these people must be having sleepless nights, okay? Running around trying to make sure that the 5 guys get convicted. Or that people who are key in the exoneration of these 5 guys get sabotaged somehow or get deleted. All right? That is why we are seeing all these legal aids, this money, this, and that. Right? So that's what I'm thinking. Okay. And then the problem here is that anybody who is compromised in any way, this man must be giving them panic attacks. Those people must be having sleepless nights. I can only imagine the phone calls that are laced with threats that are going back and forth between him and those individuals in high places, right? And another thing that I'm thinking, if worst comes to worst, those at risk of being exposed will make sure that this man is dealt with one way or the other, especially if he starts being perceived as a problem. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. So at the end of the day, all I can say is that we are led by individuals who lack integrity and are very compromised. Okay, so they are not even able to step up and lead us as they should. Okay, hence we are observing pin drop silence from key officers in our country pertaining to this case.
Yes.
Okay, it's like South Africa has no leadership. Basically, a house is burning, but the parents are silently standing on the sidelines while the children are screaming for help inside. It is a sad reality that we face as South Africans because our leaders are compromised. Now, the question here is, where will we go? Do we even have anywhere to go for our voices to be heard? You know, those are the questions that I'm asking myself. Hence, I will always continue to urge my fellow Mzansi Reality family members to keep the fire of our crawl here burning at all times. Because this is the only way, you know, because I mean, the only way to do it is that, is to stay faithful, we need to stay faithful and keep showing up here whether it rains or it's sunny, to keep liking the video, giving super chats and sharing the videos, because this is the only way to keep raising our voice and getting access to information that is not intended to influence or mind control us in any way. Do you know what I mean? And also, this is one way for the world to have a peep into what is happening to us in our country. Do you know what I mean? Because if we keep podcasts like this live, they can kill our institutions, but we should never allow them to kill our voices. Because our forefathers and our parents, they went through a lot fighting for us not to be silent.
Yes.
Some of them even paid with their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just to conclude, I can just say, let us keep praying for the defense team, for their safety, for the safety of the witnesses, for resilience and strength to be renewed, for finances to keep overflowing in their direction, and for the 5 guys especially to be mentally sober, especially in times, So that's all I gotta say. You're doing such an amazing job. I love you guys so much. I really, really, really love you guys so much. You take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a lovely weekend, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and you have a lovely weekend too.
Yeah. Someone is on the call. Someone is calling. Mzansi. Hello.
Someone is calling. Mzansi.
I don't know what to do.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Number one, I go with Ronaldo, not Messi. Yeah.
Ronaldo, not Messi.
I wanna start it from the scratch now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember there's a first, what I was happy about it today was Mshololo, because she reminded me from the scratch. The first police who came to the scene, and Mshololo asked them, did you put that tape that shows a crime scene? And that guy, a Zulu guy, said, for what? And then I said, did you enter the house? I entered the house. I saw there's nothing that happened here. That's why I went to the hospital. And then to the hospital to ask what happened there, because I don't see anything. That's the first police who came to the crime scene.
Yes.
And then from there, that guy, I'm sure they minus that guy. Okay, it is fine. Again, let's go to our own ballistic expert. I saw it this other day. They tried to chase that guy out. We don't even know the story, but what I've noticed again, the day I was watching that case that day, Ratha didn't even entertain it. When they say, I know, you know what, don't put me in your problems, then it was fine. They went there, they came back, everything continued like nobody's business. It was okay. So there are a lot of things that those guys, they are hiding. Like, I'm thinking it could be alleged or it could be the real. But I feel like Ratha he already have that judgment now. And that judgment is confused because now he's thinking that a person of no color is other side.
Yeah.
And how am I going to tell the person of no color that you are wrong? There's no way. He's confused. Trust me, those ballistics experts, Mangena is shaking. And Mshololo asked one question after talking with that ballistic, because the ballistic, they can take a picture, a video of the ballistic, our own ballistic experts. They took Mangena. Mshololo asked one last question. So, when did you started there? Said, whatever, yes, okay, sharp. Who, Ratha, it was Ratha. And then they ask, okay, I'm sure to ask, okay, when did you start there? Well, to be a canon. And then he mentioned that to be a canon, I started in this time, no. So from there, he said, no, you know what? The ballistic aspect, that means it was there before them, no?
Yeah, no, we are
Mangena.
here. We are catching you.
Yeah.
We are catching you.
The ballistic aspect, our own, was there before Mangena.
No. It was Mangena was there before him. That's what he said.
Mangena was there before
him.
Before the white guy.
Yes.
Mangena
but
was
the
there
white guy has
him.
got information than Mangena.
Yes, because he's working independently. So he's exposed to other things.
Nah, the guy, no. Maybe there's somewhere where we don't catch this thing up. Because remember, these guys, they are coming even from DRC.
No, we hear you. No,
he's got his own practice now.
Yeah, that's what they do. The even stain, that's what it's doing. But good, we get your point. Let me just take another caller.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They don't stay long. I mean, money is there from government because
they
are
do
going
have
to work
capital. They get capital.
So they are working towards something. When they get into these things,
even
they always
Stein said he's going to do that.
Stein is actually yes. Let me finish this. 2 black guys who were jailed for 20 years. They told them it was a mistake, just like that. Kwaphela lapho. Funny thing is indlela bashawa ngayo, bachubwa ngayo, ngayo fana exactly nontanzi bashawa baze bayo khonjiswa iscene bayo shootwa ithombe exactly njengosibiya kunzima. The life of the black man has no value. The sad thing is all of this is done by our own black people to other black person. Thank you. Mzansi, guys, let's keep it short. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Mzansi, njani?
Sikhona njani?
Yaphila.
Yes.
Ndifuna usisha i-2 cent nyana nje.
Please
and xa ndicingile. Niyakhumbula ngokuthiwa uMaphiri uklinile kwi-crime scene.
Yebo.
Niphinde nikhumbule allegations zikaMngomezulu.
Yes.
By the time athi uLongo wadutyulwa. When is that cleaning? Kwaklinwa igazi laLongo.
We hear where you're going.
Ndiyayicinga nyani, but what if la cleaning it was because of igazi lakhe, because igazi salifunyanwa kula crime scene lifunyene sitting room only.
Yes.
Nenye into endidistractayo. Le case kalongo izovele ngoku ivele ngoku. Ikhona iplan abaphezu kwayo noba yintoni na. Iyandidistracta le nto yoba so enzobe ikhona iplan somewhere.
Yeah.
And kaloku bekhe kwathethwa ngolongo udutyulwe. What if mhlawumbi there's something eplanwayo uba mhlawumbi azalinyazwe ejele or something. Bendifuna usharisha nje lo 2 cent only.
I get you. Thank you.
Engos.
And I did mention something like that, right? Mzansi, hello. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Next. 2 minutes. Next. Mzansi, hello. Right. Let me see. Mzansi, hello.
Sanzelo.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Anu and Sisimili.
Hi, morning.
Yeah, it's Francis calling from the US.
Hi,
Yes,
Francis.
all the way from US.
Yeah. Guys, I really appreciate the work that you guys are doing.
Thank
you.
You know, yeah, this case is something else, you know. I've been wondering for the past days now when I just think about this case. Then I just say, this case has exposed the South African police, and it is giving a very negative image of the South African police. I'm sorry to say so. But from what is happening in that court, it is giving a negative image to the South African police. It's showing that the South African police is incompetent and unprofessional. Just listen to what the ballistic expert said today in court. So according to him, it is normal for somebody to smuggle a weapon into the lab to carry out a test, because if you bring a weapon into the lab without registering that weapon, you are smuggling that weapon. That is an illegal action. That is very, very unprofessional.
Very.
And I pray that the authorities, the power that be, are following this case and to the evidence that these people are giving in court. Yeah, because we are talking about the life of 5 individuals.
Yes.
And the truth is that this case is still alive now because the South African police wanted to score a point using this case.
Yeah.
But it has backfired on them. It has backfired on them. They wanted to use this Senzo's case to score a point, but at the end of the day, it is backfiring on them, and they are trying by all means to do damage control, but they instead keep creating more confusion, more mess on themselves. Because as it stands now, to be honest with you, before God and man, as it stands now, there is no evidence so far that the state has brought that is linking this accused person to this crime, to the best of my knowledge. To the best of my knowledge, because all the evidence that they have brought so far, the defense have been able to counteract the evidence. And it sounds so funny when I see the judge coming to the aid of the state. Now, you, the judge, somebody brings an evidence before the court, and he uses that evidence to convince you that the bullets and the weapon matches. Now, during when they are leading evidence in chief, he uses that particular evidence to convince you. Now, when they are doing cross-examination and the defense lawyers are trying to bring out controversies in that particular evidence that the person brought to court, you are now talking about microscope and telescope and whatever scope. Why did you talk about microscope when they were leading evidence in chief? So it makes no sense. It makes no sense. The best thing the judge could have done was to ask the ballistic expert to bring the microscope in court. Since he wants that they should prove it under the microscope, because what they used to do the evidence that he used when he was giving evidence in court, it wasn't a microscope, it was a chart. He brought up a chart and he was giving evidence based on that chart. Then the defense lawyer is doing his cross-examination based on the same chart. Then you, the judge, you're talking about microscope. It doesn't add up. I think from what I'm seeing, this case, the state has already made up her mind to nail these 5 guys. But I want to believe that South Africans are not sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if this judgment goes the way I'm trying to foresee it, I want to believe that South Africans will not sleep.
Yeah.
Because South Africa will need to stand up for these guys. Because as it stands now, the truth is that the state has failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that these guys are the ones that carry out this crime. Until then, until they prove that, if the judgment go the other way around, the way we're thinking, then I believe that the Parliament of South Africa will need to step in and do something concerning this case.
Yeah.
That is my take.
Thank you.
God bless you guys.
Thank you very much, you too.
Thank you. Every point raised.
Hello, Mzansi family. Mr. Anonymous. Mr. Samuel. Mina ngine-question nje A1. Let's say ubrigadier followed the right procedure. Ukuthi igane landwe le e-police station isubmitwe kuma-ballistics. Was the gun going to be allowed ukuthi yenziwe ama-test kuyo? Because if he in a broken seal, so definitely that gun wasn't going to be allowed. So you see, lo muntu esidilana is very smart. He used uMangena to go and get the gun le azongena nayo la, and then do the test. So this is very big, Buffett. This is very big. But I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. It's just alleged. But the way I see it, the mastermind is Dilanaila, ile IO. This is alleged.
Indeed, all is alleged, and those views are viewers of the callers out of the channel. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, do whatever that is right by this video. 2 minutes, thank you. 2 minutes, guys. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello.
No, Mr. Anonymous.
Hi, sir, how are you?
Good, I am Emily.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. No, I just wanted to just comment on, I think this case is so polarizing that, you're either on one side or on the other side. I don't think there are still people in between. Because, sometimes, because I just observe sometimes how we, look at the evidence. Like, for example, when the state brings something, if you're on the defense side, everything will always seem to be a bit off. Like, for example, during the 205 evidence before Pinky, there was that time when I think they were back and forth about the 205, whether they have the 205 or they don't have the 205, etc. And then I think it was at some point revealed that the 205 was coming from another case. So people were already up in arms to say, why are they using a 205 from another case? In this case, hey, they're cooking, things like that. But we saw when Pinky came that it's normal. It's a database. They put it there in the database. You can access it, as long as it's been acquired from Vodacom. But obviously at the time, because people didn't know, they see it as why are they using this 205 from here? And so it makes it difficult to really become objective when you're analyzing the case if you've already chosen a side. So that's what I just wanted to say. But for my submission, I think today something important happened, something quite critical, because Mangena. So basically what's been happening so far is that Mangena tested the bullets. It shot 8 bullets, which he tested against the exhibit. And then he came to findings. He concluded that it's a positive match according to him. Then he came to court to present that using those charts and using his 212 statement, right, the affidavit. Right. Now, what happens is that he gets cross-examined. Before they cross-examine him, the defense says, can we get our experts so that we can be able to prepare for cross-examination? Then what the expert does, he goes in, he takes the exhibits that Mangena has already shot. He he takes those bullets, he puts them through a microscope with the exhibit bullet. He tests all of them. He makes his findings, and then he advises the defense on those findings to say, based on what Mangena has shot in his tests, this does not comply with consecutive matching striations, and therefore, for me, this would be inconclusive. Right? This is based now on Mangena's results. Now, what he further goes on to do, he shoots his bullets. So now, what has happened is that, so the 4 guys that are coming to support Mangena, none of them shot, right? So they're just confirming the 8 tests that Mangena has done. They're just taking that through a microscope, and then they're saying, no, we see the lines, etc. It's positive,
Yes.
And then Dave himself did the same thing, which is what is currently in court when they're busy going back and forth on the charts. It's basically that review. So we can say he's number 5. So Mangena has 4 guys plus the 5th one now is Dave, according to this exercise. But the key thing that happened is that he shot his own shots right out of that same box, that blue cartridge box, and then using the exhibit firearm. What it means now is that he is now going to have his own results, an independent test that he has done.
Yeah.
So that test, Mangena has nothing to do with that. It's not Mangena. That's why if you notice today, Baloyi, when I was re-examining, he asked Mangena, did this guy shoot using the discipline? He said yes. He said, where are the results? He says, no, I don't know. So those results, they are going to come later to say, now Mangena is done, right? We're done with Mangena. Now we are now as a defense presenting new evidence. What is the new evidence? We have shot additional bullets using the exhibit firearm, and we are further showing you that it is not a match. Now, what needs to happen from there, the state must now cross-examine Dave now based on that. So now Dave can go and get more experts to come and verify his results. So it's basically a whole new evidence led on ballistics, but coming from the defense side, whereby the defense is coming with evidence, is presenting it to say it's inconclusive. The state must rebut and say, no, this is positive. So they must try and make it positive while the defense is presenting to say this is negative. So Baloyi's cross-examination is going to be trying to make it positive, whereas Dave is presenting it as inconclusive, and it's on new test exhibits that have never been tested by anyone. So I think the key thing is that Dave has shot, the other guys haven't shot. None of them shot bullets. So Dave is going to bring new evidence that no one can debate. If they want to debate, they need to review it, and then, because no one has worked on that. So it's Dave's evidence now. Those bullets, it's now new evidence from Dave that further supports the defense measure.
Yeah.
So I think that was critical.
Yeah, it is. It is. Oh, we hear you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Right. Mina, I'm done.
Yeah.
I am as done as hell. I'm no longer taking calls. In fact, I can literally switch off the internet. Right. So now, let me go through the Bible of people who were here. Nat, thank you very much for being with us. Lady, thank you for being with us. Yes, Kalagata, thank you for being with us. Veiws Lestuma, thank you for being with us. Fiso Madonzela, thank you for being with us. I'm still amazed as to why only the test bullet is the only one that could not carry the marks from the same gun as the so-called scene exhibit bullet. Yes, it is amazing and puzzling. Hey, Emil, what is this? What is how do you read this? Khailebale. Khailebale. Yes. Sorry, man.
Khailebale.
Thank you for being with us. I would have read your surname, but hey, after going through, Nkosinathi Maqaba. Thank you for being with us. Tapiwa. Thank you for being with us. Zwa. Thank you for being with us. You're back. It's been a while. Mbasi, thank you for being with us. Let me see who else. And BBM, yes, you are a moderator now.
BBM, welcome to the moderation.
18. Thank you for being with us, Mami. Thank you for being with us. Ranji Wesiband, thank you for being with us. Sneh Ngobo, thank you for being with us. Gavin Sam Moodley, thank you for being with us. Senzo was also a good singer. Watch the video in his BMW when he was singing Asine. Hey, that one is a sad one. Ruth, thank you for being with us. Turitus, welcome. You are never late because we keep this thing here. Tandazile, thank you for being with us. Nelson Mondane, thank you for being with us. BBM mentioned you, and Ndumiso Stooms, thank you for being with us. CN Poker, thank you for being with us. Laura, thank you for being with us, our member. Let me see. Mambush, thank you for being with us. Jose Zile, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you guys. That's why we go to Colin Dove. Thank you for being with us. Margie, thank you for being with us. This is just to appreciate him. Tim Cool, thank you for being with us. Hansina, I'm hoping that's how you read your name. Thank you for being with us. Mrs. K, we appreciate you. Spongile, we appreciate you. Mhlaba, Lindy, thank you for being with us. Let me see. Busison Love, thank you for being with us. Yes, most of you have been mentioned. Most of you. Lula Masirai, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Your effort, your time. We appreciate you. Going through the adverts, we appreciate Tandim Tembo. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you for keeping us here. And Etimoyo, thank you for being with us. Bongile, siyabonga kakhulu ngokuba nathi la Timbane. We appreciate you. Stu Dube, when you were looking at the police, I wanted to your comment. Is it just Stu Dube? You're looking at the police. I don't know which police was that one behind Mshololo. Sibanda, thank you. Brunos X, thank you for being with us. Yes, guys, if I did not mention you, Sbusiso Mlungisi Mhlaban, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. If I didn't mention you, then that's why I probably jumped your name. I didn't want to mess it up. Mamela, thank you, our member. We appreciate Lebo. Yes, Lebo Masugu, we appreciate you. Nkalakatha. Siyabonga cool. Sibusiso Ndlovu, siyabonga. Guys, everyone who was here, we appreciate you. If I mentioned you, Sizwe siyabonga. Patience M, siyabonga cool. T Brownskin, our member, proud of you. Thank you. You made it. You are here. You were just chilling there, not commenting today, and that's it, guys. Sibonga cool. It's a bye from us.
Bye, guys.
Not until Monday. We might have something. I don't know, but we are tired. But we might have something. And Emily is saying we should. That means we might.
We should. It has to be. There's a pending video that you guys, I'm sure you'll be happy to see, that we have to work on. Might take a while, but we need to do it. I have to do that one.
Asibe ne Saturday enhle bathi imini ye Saturday enhle kwabakholwa koShembe abakholwa kwa bathini what seven days yes isonto seliqalile sengithi isonto seliqala umgqibelo isabatha liqalile that is it, and those who are going to church on Sunday they shall on Sunday, and those who are not going to church they should chill. Those who are going to their places, the other places,
rest the body.
For trivial issues,
rest the mind.
Yes, they should be there. Rest your body, but always continue checking Mzansi, and we appreciate you. It's a bye from us.
Bye, guys.